Welcome back to Zekism Wrestling. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to anyone who's listening. I will stop saying that, I promise. And Monday Night Raw took place last night. Our Stranger Things melded episode. If you didn't know, by the way, Stranger Things is currently finishing up on Netflix. I don't know if you knew. Anyone who watched Raw, you might have caught one or two mentions of it. It's me being facetious. I get it. But by the way, I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. Even I thought it was a bit much. But you've got to look. It did feel different. It felt different, and I was like, okay, well, you know, this is what they promised it would be. A corporate tie-in, a bunch. But there you go. You know, up the Stranger Things. And Monday Night Raw took place, and we anyone who saw Adam Pearce's video he does before Monday Night Raw going, oh, tonight on Raw, this is what's going to happen, or whether it's the day before he does it, heavily hinted the fact that Chris Jericho was going to be on the show. Lots of break the walls references, and that extended to last night on the show as well, where I think Adam Pearce and Michael Cole a couple of times referenced Jericho stuff. I mean, Adam Pearce, I think verbatim said break the walls. He looked around and looked at the Demogorgon coming through the wall and said, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's break the walls. So I get what they're doing. They're soft teasing, or what's the phrase? They're teasing the promotion of the return of Chris Jericho. I think, look, I've read the dirt sheets. I've heard Sean Ross Sapp and others, much more intellectual and knowable people than me on the internet, say he's definitely coming back to WWE. So I think it's nailed on. He's coming back. WWE, I don't think would tease the fact he's coming back if it wasn't. I don't think they really do that, because it's under-delivering on a promise they never made. So I think he's coming back. It depends on when. I thought he would actually come back last night, because if anyone's seen Stranger Things, the holes in the reality, there was one at the back of the Titantron, and I thought, break the walls down, the wall, there's a hole in the wall. I thought there was a link there, and I thought, oh, it would kind of make sense thematically, although not probably good in execution, if he was to come back last night. I don't know where they would shoehorned him in. I thought maybe Gunther, but obviously AJ's wrapped up with him. Obviously he didn't return last night. So I think maybe they might bring him back with Gunther berating the crowd, having a go at Legends maybe. In 2 weeks' time, after his match with AJ, which was announced last night, AJ Styles versus Gunther is going to take place next week in Germany. I believe Dusseldorf. I could be wrong about that, but it's going to happen. AJ Gunther. I thought they would build that to the Rumble, but clearly not. And I think after that you will see. I think Gunther makes the most sense. Not that Jericho's going to win on his comeback match, but maybe he would. You never know. Otherwise, I don't see who you put Jericho up against. He's not going to go straight into the world title scene. Surely not. I mean, he could. He's got enough credentials to do that. But I think this isn't a debuting AEW star like Jade Cargill, for example, who they want to promote from the off and sort of rub it into AEW a little bit. I think this is a returning legend. We've heard about this retirement tour idea they've got. Whether that's what they've agreed upon with Chris, that he's going to come back and do a sort of retirement tour as such, Hall of Fame induction, the works, is left to be seen. Maybe he might want to come back and do a full-time run, or semi full-time run, CM Punk-esque full-time run. From what I've seen of his AEW run, and again, I'm not an expert, from what I've seen, it hasn't ended particularly well with the crowd. I think the crowd has got a little bit tired of his shtick there, which sounds, fair or unfair, that's what the crowd are reacting to. Very similar to Cody, if you like. And so, where's the logical place? If you can, you go over to WWE and you do the same shtick and you get over. So that's just how it works. So I can see him coming back and doing that. Break the Walls is going to hit. Obviously, it's not going to be Judas. Judas is very, again, sidetrack. Judas feels very AEW. I remember when he debuted in AEW and Judas fit. So I think transporting Judas over to WWE, maybe they would want that. Maybe Chris Jericho would want that. But I think I would quite happily revert back to Break the Walls and keep Judas as an AEW thing. I think the fan base loves that song. So I think leave it there. But anyway, when he does come back, I see him going against Gunther personally. He could debut against the Miz, I guess, which I've just said out loud, and actually I'm like, well, that's probably the most predictable thing they would do, actually, is have him re-debut against the Miz to get a first win under his belt. Or dare I say it, maybe a Shinsuke Nakamura, God forbid. God, I love Shinsuke. Anyway, back to Chris Jericho. Yeah, so I think it's almost nailed on, the fact they're teasing him on TV. Telly in Britain is telly. In international it's TV. I think he's definitely coming back. It's just a matter of when. And I don't know why you would hold off on re-debuting him. Maybe it's a Rumble surprise for the Saudi crowd. Maybe because they know who he is and they love legends over there. That seems, again, sort of semi-logical in my warped brain. But so yeah, those are my thoughts. I think it's almost nailed on that he's coming back, and we're going to hear Break the Walls soon. Whether he wears a scarf, whether he brings a clipboard down from the list, whether he references the Ayatollah. I don't believe he did much of that in AEW, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm not as well versed as many of you know, but yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see him back. You know what would be really interesting? I think I'm right in saying him and CM Punk didn't end on the best of terms in AEW, so it'll be curious to see what the backstage dynamic will be like there, because I think CM Punk he's ingratiated himself within WWE circles. A lot of the young talent look up to him. I've seen so many videos, official and not official, of people loving CM Punk. Really picking his brain for advice. Dare I say a learning tree? But I won't go there. But you know, and this is what, you know, allegedly CM Punk was wanting to do or asking to do in AEW, but was obviously denied by some of the young talent there or whatever, or they weren't being as respectful as maybe he was hoping to do. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but that was part of the breakup there, was that he felt slightly disrespected by some of the locker room over there, and I'm sure he referenced Chris Jericho. I think I may just be spreading rumours now, but I'm sure Chris Jericho referenced in a press conference Punk in a slightly negative way, going, "Oh, he didn't really come with the right mindset," or something like that. If that is not true, I apologise, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that. Anyway, I'm going to end it before I get sued. Let me know what you think about Chris Jericho's clearly inevitable, imminent return to WWE. Please leave a like, subscribe on the channel as well, and I'll speak to you next time. Thank you so much for listening, and here's to 2026 and breaking those walls down.